Hello, everybody, and welcome to some stat check bonus content. We have the brand new June 2025 data slate, and we are here to talk about all of the various costs and consequences of such indubitable actions that have caused us all so much mental stress over the last 7 or so hours. I don't know how you feel, Jeremy, but my brain is mush already, and my job is Warhammer, and other people have things that aren't that. So we've got Tyranids, we've got Death Guard, we've got Soul Grinders, we've got Nurglings, we've got all kinds of chaos thrown to the wind.
We've got new missions.
New missions. I mean, we've had the new missions for like 2 weeks, man.
No, but now we know what's going to be played.
Sure, all of them, right? We get to see what maps they're
Not
on.
all of them, actually.
Sure, not unexploded ordnance, right?
No unexploded ordnance, no ritual, no burden of trust.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's just the WTC mission pack.
And what was the other one that was out?
Purge? If you tell me Purge is out, I'll be very excited.
That'd be fucking hilarious. Give me a second.
As a Genestealer Cult.
While we're talking, I'll go through it.
So, general structure for today. We are going to go through all of the armies in some semblance of an order. There will not be timestamps. Sorry. It's just not a thing we do.
If someone in the comments wants to do timestamps, you're more than welcome to, and we'll pin your comment. But
God, feel free. We're not going to do it because, frankly, we're just not that technologically minded. We're here to vamp, and then I have a team call in like an hour and 45. So, got places to be. So let's start with the game-wide changes, because the only one that exists is that there's a base size document now, and it's in the app, and that's kind of awesome. This is pretty great, right? Like, I want to just before we do anything else, give massive props for this existing, and also for the sheer pain that it has caused to specific armies players, because it makes me so happy. Not in like a pure malice way. And that is that Soul Grinders and Defilers are now on 160
to be fair, Defilers are across 4 different armies.
Yeah.
So it's 5 armies that are causing pain.
It's true. It's great. I'm very excited about this change. It makes me laugh. It makes me like
Defilers definitely caught a fucking
in my soul.
they caught a stray that was intended just for the Soul Grinder, and they went, well, if this has to be on a 160, that's the same model, right? Yeah, but we never shipped that one with a base.
They're just trying to make Fulgrim feel better. I think that's what it's all about.
Fulgrim no longer the biggest
Fulgrim's
base.
like, God, I'm glad I'm not those guys.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not on a base size that's my movement characteristic.
Yeah, it's designed for Archaon and the Monolith.
Alice, GW saving 5 different armies for making poor list choices.
Hey, such is life. Purge of the Foe is still in the pack, which makes me upset. Heartbreaking. The new ritual is a weird mission. And then there were a couple of updates to the maps for layout 7 and 8. They're still probably not good for singles, but
I think that 8 is perfectly fine for singles now.
I'll take your word for it.
And that's just because they've made it much more clear where those sight lines exist and where they don't exist.
It's easier to set the board up now. I will grant you that. That's definitely true.
7 still sucks.
7 is I don't want to play on 7.
But that's
and that was it for game-wide changes. There were no game-wide balance updates to come in for everything else. It's mostly just been, hey, this is changes to specific armies. So where do we want to start army-wise? Where's your soul? We do Votann. Start with the one. Yeah, sure. Start at the top. Go for the beginning.
If we just go through this alphabetically, it'll be a lot easier.
It is, but it's way funnier if we do it in the stressful way.
It's chaos.
So Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yeah, so sisters, some pretty awesome changes here. The Champions of Faith detachment got a huge upgrade where now you don't have to burn miracle dice to bless your units, and you can bless units and transports, which is just like that detachment is going to actually do really well now, I think.
I think the detachment is just genuinely strong. The fact that it also combined with like decent points drops on a bunch of like fairly playable units, specifically Castigators and Paragon Warsuits being the big ones for me, really does make it feel like there is a ton of direction for sisters to go now. And
being able to just take 3 solo Paragon suits and bless them every single turn.
Yeah, not a terrible idea.
With no resource expended whatsoever.
I mean,
so
one of them is going to have Vol, right? Like, let's not fucking.
One of them will, yeah, sure, but like, and then the other, like, 2 changes. One of them is pretty substantial. Zephyrim got a pretty big glow up. You now get both of the abilities, the sustained and lethal, when you charge.
Yep. And it works on the characters all the time.
Yes, because they removed the power weapons. They just said melee weapons.
So you can run the spear, is it? What's the good one? It's the one, the Blessed Blade now, like the actually really good one.
The Eviscerator. Either way,
Canoness.
On the weapon on the jump back Canoness as opposed to the power sword, because that's what you were always taking before.
She also only gives up 3/3 on a fixed assassination now. So
it also works now with Celestine.
Yeah, she can run the Blessed Halberd. There you go. 5 attacks of 5/2 instead of 4 attacks of 4/2. So she gets +1 strike, +1 attack effectively. And yeah, it does work on Celestine leading too.
Celestine with Sustained Lethal is feels pretty good.
It's an interesting little buff for Hallowmartyr specifically as well, because they have access to all the rerolls.
Yes.
And Hallowmartyr really appreciates that. Especially now that you can do the when they do the stand back up stratagem for the Canoness, they can choose to have them, if they don't discard any miracle dice effect, they just stand up with that many wounds now. And they can like almost guarantee that they stand up with reduced health, so they get their +1 to hit and wound, and then just have that Canoness go absolutely ape.
Well, doesn't the jump back Canoness have 4 wounds? So
she has 3. So the Paladin can guarantee it if you don't roll a 3 on the D3. The jump Canoness has to roll a 1 to 4. But it's still
regular Canoness has 4, but the jump pack Canoness has 3.
Yeah, the jump Canoness loses a wound when she straps on the jump pack. Like it's something to do with like her general lack of self-preservation.
That's probably for the best.
If you strap a jump pack to your back, you shouldn't get the extra wound.
And then Retributors got reworked a little bit. Now they get to reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1 when targeting something. And if you target something that killed something in your unit, you now get +1 to hit and to wound, which
I hope that unit stays unplayable, because the tracking memory of that is a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah, honestly, I think you would almost always rather have the rerolls than the +1.
Is it not both, or is it only one of them?
It's instead.
Oh, that's a bit sad.
Yeah, it's the same thing that they did with the Thousand Suns Grotmist Detachment, where they're like, you get reroll ones to hit and wound with psychic weapons, but if you're in your field thingy, you get +1 to hit and wound. You go.
I mean, that's at least a little more interesting now, specifically. Now that Magnus doesn't have that all the time.
Yes. So we're talking about? Probably not.
Nah, probably not. All right, who's up second?
We got Custodes.
10 points off Alaris.
Yeah, 5 points,
5 points off Alaris.
Yeah, which is fine. And you might see a little bit more play with them in.
I think broadly we've all been under the impression that Custodes are in a fine place and don't really need changes.
Agreed.
So this feels fine. I don't think Custodes were like desperate for anything. The internal balance of that book is a misery because there were 3 data sheets in it. Like, what are you going to do? Like, how do you? Like, it's fine.
Yep,
Solar's still pretty decent. No one plays it anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Custodes sure do continue to exist in the balance data slate of 40k. All right, they didn't even get a line in the article from GW.
No, they didn't, because they didn't need anything. All right, Admech. No like rules changes. Sorry.
There were quite a lot of rules changes for Admech.
There were only 2 actual rules changes, which is that the robots now always have Doctrinas, and now the Cybernetica cohort gives robots +2 move
and +1 OC.
Sure.
It's there.
It's there.
It doesn't have to be exciting to be.
It's not what Admech needed. What they definitely didn't need, though, and I'm really enjoying this, is the new Kill Team unit, which is 9 models for 60 points. That actually is not horrible.
They can action and shoot and advance and shoot. So it can advance, shoot, and action when you're in your assault doctrine.
But they're not Skatari, so ignore them. They suck.
I mean, look, if you're playing Admech, you deserve a bone.
Here's another 27 models to add to your horde of models. And then they drop the price on Ballistari, both the shooting ones as well as the Dragoons. That's basically
the Scorpius Scissor came down to 10, which is actually kind of interesting, because that's not a bad little platform.
Yeah, at 165, like at 175, it was already being seen taken in 2s or 3s. So yeah, kind of nice. I think like your average Halo Screed list just went down like 60 points. Which is perfect to just now slot in that new unit.
Yeah, you just get an extra scoring unit in an army that was just completely lacking scoring units.
Yeah,
I'm sure Tyler is incredibly excited.
Yeah, Tyler missed it actually in the update when he was talking about everything this morning in chat, and then he went, "Wait, this data sheet's great." Yeah, because there's like you can advance an action as long as you have a tech priest in the unit. By the way, the sergeant in the unit is a tech priest. Yeah, so cool.
It's all right. Just precision them out.
Not a character.
I know.
Aeldari. Nothing about lost.
Many things of intermittent value were changed. All right. So do we want to start from the top with the army changes?
Yeah.
Poor Ynnari. Games Workshop has proven that they cannot be trusted with Ynnari for the 4th edition in a row.
I always say, if you can't be balanced, you can't be good.
And like, it's not even, it's the second time this edition, because the Unicorn wasn't balanced in the index either.
Oh, I remember all too well. Yeah, so
lethal
like intent
the fifth time Ynnari have been nerfed in the time I've been playing since they came out in 7th edition.
More than that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like the 7th, 8th. Yeah, every time the Ynnari have had rules, it's been nerfed. Okay.
Yeah, so lethal intent is now you have to be within 6 inches of the unit that was destroyed. It only works in infantry mounted, and it's now a normal move of d6+1. So no more moving away Serpent 18 inches because you gave it d6+1 movement.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. That's not a good rule anymore. It's really limited, and all the units that were.
I mean, it's one of 3 rules that your detachment has.
Sure, but like, let's not fuck about and say that the other 2 are actually things you care about. They're things that occasionally happen.
Yeah. But lethal intent was too strong. I think they went a little too far in nerfing it. I think a normal move of 7 inches would have been fine.
Yeah, and I feel like the within 6 in the infantry mounted was maybe a little much. But
I think infantry mounted restriction is perfectly fine because vehicles should not be moving.
I feel like it should be allowed to be used on the Ynnari. I feel like that's annoying.
Okay, yeah. So I mean,
non-vehicle
infantry mounted monster.
Or like non-vehicle, like anything in that space, right? I think that obviously it going on Wave Serpents was insane, and that was why we were all complaining about Wave Serpents going into detachment in the first place, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it feels very restrictive for no reason now.
Yeah, I think you can go back, remove the 6-inch requirement, allow the Ynnari to do it.
Why is it not 7 inches? That's Ynnari's number.
Yeah. Well, it's d6+1, so it's a max of 7.
No, why is it not within 7? For the dying trigger.
Oh, within
like that's the thing. That's the thing that most annoys me.
I don't care. Like 3, 6, 9.
No, it's always been 7 for Ynnari.
No, I meant like everywhere else in the game. Is there anything
sure.
else that has like a 4-inch aura or something dumb?
I don't know. There's some engagement range auras.
Sure. All right. And then Yvraine is now wound rolls of 1.
Yvraine got punched in the. Poor Yvraine, man. She ain't do nothing to nobody. Look, the Vizark will still be winning you Arcanish Rex on 2s rolling 1s. That's all that really matters.
That is
the only use case for that rule now.
One of the dumbest sorts ever. And then they also got hit with a swath of point hikes on Autarchs, Fire Dragons, Howling Banshees, the Warlock Conclave. I guess someone got bad touch by Seer Council at some point. And then
it was, to be fair, showing up a bunch in Ynnari as well, right? Like Nanavai's list recently.
Yeah, that's true. The 4-man unit of Warlocks with
Liam's Harlequin's list was also playing 2 of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So really, you could just say that this is a Liam target nerf. And Shining Spears, Fire Prisms, and Warwalkers came down. I actually think Warwalkers are pretty interesting at 85. That's a good little data sheet for 85 points.
Yeah.
It's very interesting in things like Windrider Host, in Aspect Host, anywhere that like adding +1 AP is just a valuable thing to do, which is a lot of Eldar, right? Pushing your Dark Reapers up in to AP3 damage through AP3, pushing your bikes up to AP1 ignore cover, all that kind of stuff is a really, really solid little place for a lot of the Eldar units. Obviously, it sucks to see Fire Dragons go up as the primary anti-tank output, but they did drop the points on 3 units that are ostensibly also anti-tank with the Fire Prism, the Shining Spears, and the Warwalker. So I don't think it's the end of the world for Eldar players. Maybe you put Morgan Ra on your Death Dark Reapers now.
However, then they also increased the points on Ynnari, the Ynnari Archon, and Incubi by 10 points each.
The Ynnari at 250 was kind of stupid. Whatever.
It was, but she also wasn't being seen play in every Ynnari list.
I know.
Like, so there was at least some questions being asked there, so I don't think she needed to go up. The Incubi change feels one unit.
The Incubi change feels punitive. If you're
the Archon one is also
who was playing that? Me?
I don't know.
I was playing it to grenade people when it dropped, and I stopped after a while because free grenade is good, but you can do better. Yeah,
I don't know. I think
Warwalkers should have Warwalkers for people in chat asking should have 2 Bright Lances because everyone should have the soul of a gambler. And if you don't have the heart of a warrior, your Bright
2 shots on a 3-up. Easy.
Exactly. If your Bright Lances missed, you didn't have the heart of a warrior and you didn't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
Oh Christ.
Astra Militarum.
Who's up next? So Leontus can order Titanic units again because somebody was like, he can order tanks but not Bulgrin.
They finally were like, all right, fine. We'll let you play with the super heavies. Don't touch them.
They're on 106 mil bases now, though.
God. Actually, I think that the it's still bigger than that base.
I think that would make us the Doomhammer more playable, yeah.
Because I think 160 mil is actually like just barely the sponsons.
It's 6 and a bit.
It's less than 7 because that was the old rule for Creed.
Sure, dude. Sure. I'm glad you remember that.
Hey, Creed and a Banehammer. It was always
Astra got some pretty rough points increases that I feel like they deserve them, but also like, well, regard we're doing anything, guys.
They were doing fine.
They were doing fine.
Like
Death Corps and Krieg bricks were definitely like, yeah, okay, I get that one.
But you also weren't seeing like 3 in every army. You were seeing like 1, maybe 2.
1 or 2 in every army. It felt like.
Yeah. So I don't think that was needed. Like the battle tank
to complain about.
Probably needed an increase because it's just of how efficient it is. But
I think that's kind of where I'm at with it, where I can look at every single one of these points increases for guard and isolation, with the battle tank and the Torroks going up 10, Kriegman 20 mans going up 15, and Creed going up 20. And I can look at every single one of them in isolation and go, yeah, this makes sense, right? Torroks were ridiculous at 65. Luminos battle tanks were probably the weirdest one here. Creed was insane for 65 points. Death Corps of Krieg were cheap and durable, but in like the context of the wider game, it feels weird to see guard getting hit with like 80 to 100 points on a lot of lists. To commensurate with that, Death Riders came down 10 per 5, and so did Bulgren. I think Bulgren, they hit kind of interesting again at 100 points, but they still compare kind of not great to Ogren.
Yeah, and the Death Riders still kind of suck.
Death Riders have the reactive move, right? That's their rule?
I think so, yeah.
And Rough Riders fall back and stuff?
Fall back and charge.
Still feels worse than Rough Riders.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
And their melee weapons are just worse.
It's really weird having 2 almost identical mounted units in a guard army. Yeah. It's like, which one of these do you want? Well, I'm going to use the one that's better in combat.
So Death Riders also move 2 inches less. And the other thing is they only have the Frag Lance and the Power Saber, so they don't have the Melta Lance that the Rough Riders have, which is one of the big reasons that you take the Rough Riders, is they can actually punch up fairly effectively.
And they're the same points, like they're both 60, which I guess makes sense that the Death Riders can come down to being the same points as the one that's better than them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe one day there'll be a direction there. I don't know. The guard changes feel like they're unnecessary. I don't think any of that needed to happen.
Yeah. I'll be happy not to see 20, 40 Kriegsmen on the table every time.
If it had just been the Krieg change, I would have been like, this is great, very solid. Everything feels like it's screw guard. Get in the bin. All right. Templars.
Skip over that and do Space Marines altogether.
Sure, that makes sense.
So
skip over Blood Angels, demons. So there's some. Do we know what happened with Nurglings and vulnerable saves? Do we have a definitive?
No.
Is the index updated? But the app hasn't. Because the app still says they have a 6-up invul. And the index says that they have a 5-up invul. And all I'm saying is that if I have to play against Shadow Legion Nurglings that are -1 to hit, -1 to wound, and a 5-up invul, I'm gonna go.
Oh yeah, they do in the index. That's hilarious. What do they have in the Death Guard Codex?
5-up invul. They're 5-up in the Death Guard Codex.
So they're probably all going to a 5-up then. They just forgot to update the app.
I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. You also
can't take 9-mans anymore.
Oh no, I don't like that one bit. Why are they -1 to hit, -1 to... Someone in the Warhammer Discord was saying that Gulliman doesn't kill 3 on average now without Oath. It's 14 attacks. Yeah, there you go, Mike. I'm gonna shut you out. Gulliman only kills 3 Shadow Legion Nurglings 40% of the time. Without Oath. With Oath, he's gonna murder them. He's gonna murder them
3s
in
and
the
2s.
crypt. They're gone.
Yeah.
3s and 3s, bro.
Oh yeah, the -1 to wound.
He's got a 33% conversion rate. Less than 33% conversion rate on his attack. 30% conversion rate on his hits and wounds.
All right.
Like, I don't know, bro. What do you want from me? It's 40 points of Nurglings.
I mean, clearly, you should have invested more effort in choosing your Oath target more carefully.
It's really difficult to pick your Oath target, okay? It's a really tough skill.
And then they also hit, but they did hit Fade to Darkness and Leaping Shadows with small point hikes, which is fine. The big thing is
15 points of Fade to Darkness dodged extra. The Bloodthirster's a bad data sheet. Fade to Darkness is a good enhancement.
I know, but it's just like they did the smart thing and they hit the enhancement that's helping it rather than
you should have just made the enhancement free and made the Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster.
It's the only time someone's going to take a Bloodthirster.
Exactly. And then Slaughter Thirst for Blood Legion came down. I don't even know what that does. It's got a cool name.
I think that's is that the Aura of Lance? No, it's not that. It's something
It
else.
is the Laura of Lance, yes. So it came down from 35, which feels fine. Down to 25. That's a good aura. Someday out there, someone's going to be really good at Blood Legion. It's just not going to be this year.
Yeah. There's been a couple guys that have done reasonably well with it, but nothing fantastic.
Yeah,
Chaos Knight's moving right along because we
have a book coming.
We have a book coming.
They sticky 5'd this page to come back to later.
Yeah. CSM.
Chaos Space Marines. Some interesting changes for CSM. First of all, they got a detachment. So we're going to come back to that once we've done the
so rules changes. The Demon Prince now gets blown up like every other foot Demon Prince does.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Deserved.
The Lord Discordant, I don't know what the fuck they were smoking when they wrote these changes, but he went from move 10 to move 14, a 5-up invuln to a 4-up invuln. He now, Corrupt Machine Spirits changed, so now you just choose an enemy, a visible vehicle unit within 12, and on a 2-3, they take D3, on a 4-5, they take 3, and on a 6, they take D3 plus 3 mortal wounds.
Yep, seems fine.
And then Spirit Thief, rather than being a range on it, it's just a visible vehicle unit, and then everyone in your army gets reroll hit rolls or wound rolls of 1 against it.
Mm-hmm. So he's the
and last but not least,
he got +2 strength, +1 AP, and +1 damage in combat, and +1 attack.
Yep.
Did he go up in points, or is he still the same?
No.
He was pretty garbage before.
Oh, I'm not even horrible before.
I'm not even convinced this makes him
joke before.
Like, so... I'm still personally not convinced this makes him that good. He's definitely
He's 160 points for that profile now.
Yeah, and like he is mounted, which is probably good in Renegade Raiders because he can use the flat advanced stratagem and he can advance and charge with the strats, which is better than being a vehicle. I'm still just like, dude, that's a big base to move around places.
However, because he's mounted, he only pays 1 inch for pivots.
He does. He also can run away 14 inches after he fights things if he stays in combat.
Oh god.
No, I think he's probably pretty good. Like, I
think you'll start seeing 1 or 2.
We're gonna try him out with the scout enhancement. I think it seems interesting. Yeah, he's at worst more expensive than Carnivore. It's not a terrible comparison.
Not something to
move a lot faster. He's 2-up, 4-up. I think he seems fine. He seems okay. Yeah. I think CSM could probably still do better, but it's.
How about Vashtor?
He's interesting in that space. Vashtor, I was really excited about until I realized it was Demon Vehicle within 3 for Lone Op. And that's a much harder ask than infantry within 3.
Yeah. So he gets blown up within 3 of a demon vehicle, which, of course, is the really hilarious thing in the Soulforge War Pack, where you can just make any vehicle a demon vehicle.
Your Rhino with, for example, a Rhino with Noise Marines inside it.
Yep. And now he was before was -1 to hit within 18. Now he's -1 to hit, and you get hazardous. Oh no, he was hazardous before
all the time now.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was only ranged, and now it's hazardous as well.
Yeah. And then on top of
that, +2 strength to his aura. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get a strength 12 on your Forge Fiends. I think he seems interesting. He's still really expensive. 175 is a lot for a guy that doesn't do a ton by himself.
Yeah,
like he is.
He also got devastating wounds on his sweep profile,
and an extra AP on his big attack.
Yeah, which is kind of fun. Like 12 attacks at 812 with anti-vehicle 4-up is.
It's kind of interesting in Renegade Raiders where he's like 822 at that point or 1443.
Can he 1-round Canis?
So he can pact for sustained hits.
So I mean, it's 12 hits.
It's tough to, but he definitely could.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does on
like you're winning on 3s. He doesn't get a save. You do like an average of 18, like 15 damage, and then he feel no pain, like 5 of it, 3 to 5 of it. Like probably
it's
not.
Close though.
No, Kinetrix has 22 health, right, or 24 health.
20.
You're like maybe getting half.
Yeah. Okay. It's still funny.
Yeah, it's decent damage.
Your strength 12 Forge Fiend next to you.
Your buddy, your two Forge Fiend buddies stood next to you in full rerolling with Abaddon. Yeah, you could build like one hell of a Forge Fiend castle now. 3 Nurgle Forge Fiends with strength 12.
Yeah, and then points wise, they got a couple cuts. The Lord of Jump Pack went down. The Mop went down. The Train Enforcer went down, and Beastman went down. Beastman at 70 is actually really and the Dark Apostle did too. Beastman at 70 is probably really interesting in Iconoclast.
Sure, man. You Feel free. Once that book comes out, I'll relook at Chaos Knights. Until then, Iconoclast is just nothing boxed.
Okay. And more reasonably, then, it's actually quite interesting.
Is kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's faster, being movement 8, being able to join Possessed and Chosen specifically. It's like, if you wanted a second character instead of a Chaos Lord with Dread Reaver, there's an argument that this guy could be a little interesting. I still don't think he quite does enough, but...
Yep. And then the Dark Apostle probably didn't need to come down, but...
Yeah, I mean, just buffing Chaos Cults, right?
Yeah, Chaos Cults got a little bit more room that they didn't need.
Sure,
actually, Falkor Beastman would probably be really interesting in Legion of Shadow.
With Deep Strike and the ability they get plus. Do they still get? No, they come in from reserve return earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably still not that good.
Yeah, 70 points for a cheap unit that does that. Cultists are still probably better.
Cultists are right there, right? Honestly, 6 Darglings are 70 points. What are we doing? Like, you got one of them. What are you doing? Your 6 Darglings for these guys? Like, come on, dude.
All right, Death Guard. Nothing.
Do we want to do the new detachment for Chaos Space Marines while we're here?
Oh, that's right. That does exist.
So the Cabal of Chaos, a detachment that I don't understand why this exists or who it's for.
I don't know.
But it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely got all the rules togetherness, right? It's just really weird. It's got the good old chaos on the 3rd night of the blood moon in July. Get your buffs. So yeah, Cabal of Chaos. When you Dark Pact, you can either choose to have a rule or not to have a rule. You are allowed to choose not to. You can, when you Dark Pact in the shooting phase, pick that your melee weapons get +1 AP, and vice versa. I don't know why you would. So yeah, if you're within 9 of a Psyker, you can give your ranged weapons +1 strength. Notably, Nemesis Causal Psyker, which is actually kind of interesting. The newly buffed Standy Demon Prince is a Psyker. Seems interesting enough. Is he? The foot one? I'm pretty sure the foot one is a prince, right?
I don't think either of them are.
Are they not Psykers? God, this is the worst.
Demon Prince of Chaos.
Oh, I hate Chaos.
That's the Chaos Demons one.
Heretic Astartes Demon Prince, I think it's called.
Probably. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's the one that's named differently.
God, they don't even get the Psyker keyword with the...
None of the Demon Princes have Psyker. Even though they are Psykers. You know what does have the Psyker keyword?
Rubric Marines. Yeah, I know. I like Rubric Marines. Yeah. +1 strength on your flamers. Okay. And if you're within 9 of a Demon Prince, when you do it in melee, you get +1 AP, which is fine, right? Like, it's a good buff. Yeah. Enhancements, Psyker keyword. Come on, dude. That's how you get your Prince. That's how you get your yeah. Scout 6, okay.
Can we stop giving Chaos Scout 6, just for the love of God?
They give him Scout 9 on Leaping Shadow. That was worse. And then Demon Prince gets +2 strength and +1 AP. Yeah, it's there.
Which means that he's +2 strength and +2 AP, so he goes to 10-4-3.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I guess you could theoretically make him Khorne as well, so he's 12-4-3. Because he gets +2 strength. With his
Yeah, we don't care that rubrics can't Dark Pact. They just need to be near a unit that the unit that Dark Pacts is the thing that gets the bonus. They just need to be near.
Yeah, so you don't get the strength 5 rubrics. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, enhancement. It's so stratagems. 5-up reactive Philippine against mortal wounds. Bring models back if they're near Psychos or Princes. That's the biggest target section I've ever seen. 1 Heretic Astartes Ynnari within 9 of a Heretic Astartes Psyker, Heretic Astartes Demon Prince, or Heretic Astartes Demon Prince with wings units from your army. Jesus, guys, come up with some shorthand. Yeah, D3 +1 wounds or D3 battle line models. Grenade. They have grenade. It's grenade. It doesn't say grenade, but it's grenade.
It's grenade on a stick.
It's bad
slightly
grenade.
Longer range.
It's weak. It's grenade on a stick with worse mortal wounds. Ignore cover, which is fine. Advance and charge, which is fine. And then stealth, which is fine. Like, it's a whole bunch of fine rules stuck together. But like, if you want the Psyker keyword for the Lance enhancement, you have to run a Master Possessions, not a Chaos Lord or a Sorcerer. It all just seems worse. It just seems bad compared to. I just look at this and I'm like, why are
stealth's an aura around the model that you use, the unit that you use on? So
your Space Marines in the open are definitely going to live a turn. That's definitely a thing that happens in 10th edition. Your opponent's Noise Marines have just removed you from existence. You can push Blastmasters to strength 11. It's kind of interesting.
Shooting out of a Rhino, yeah.
Shooting out of a Rhino, yeah. Like, there's some stuff here, right? Like, I look at it and I'm like, there is all of the core characteristics of a detachment. Like, it has advance and charge. It has damage.
If you put Vashtor in here, you can have strength 13 Forge Fiends.
You have strength 13. You have strength 12. No, you can't because that doesn't work. You can have you could. It does. It has all the bits, but I don't really get.
I don't know if they're well
why
assembled.
You would play this over Bile or Renegade Raiders or even really vets. It just, I don't know, man. All the stuff that's here is stuff that you can get elsewhere with better combinations. Any thoughts? Maybe three Lords of Skulls with Vashtor in this detachment, because the advance and charge isn't it's infantry locked. Why? It doesn't even. I thought I had something. You can give them stealth from the princes. There we go.
Sure.
3 stealthy core Lords of Skulls with Vashtor and a prince and Abaddon. There's 6 models. That's actually, I'm gonna take that to an RTT if I can. If anyone wants to lend me 2 more Lords of Skulls, I got 1 Tonka truck. I don't like this statue very much. I don't think it's very good. I think it's like, that's a lot. Sorry. I don't think it's very good in the context of Chaos Space Marines where they can be. But it's not a bad detachment, right? It's not Dread Talons. It just doesn't excite me in any way, shape, or form.
No, that makes sense.
Cool. Good. Moving on. Who's the next Chaos Army? There's like 7 of these things. Dark Angels.
Nope.
It's next alphabetically, but it is Death Guard next.
Well, no, yeah. So Death Guard, as expected, because their book just came out, no changes aside from a couple FAQs.
Now the FAQs were everything I wanted. Fuck you, 6-inch ingressing Death Shroud, and fuck you, anyone who was trying to argue that Plagueburst Crawlers rained mortal wounds from the sky. They only do that normally.
There is one problem with how they worded that FAQ.
They didn't really answer the question. They just kind of like said, stop it, right? That's kind of how that...
Yeah, they said stop it, but now people are going to be like, you said I can't do it more than once per...
Phase. Yeah, stop it. Get some help. You need to stop. You need to shut up. This is why Games Workshop doesn't like you. This is why Games Workshop put your defilers on 160 mil base.
That's exactly why.
Right? It's because of this shit.
No. It says, does the Plagueburst Spore-Laced Shockwave ability inflict mortal wounds every turn to units affected by its ability? No.
I guess for each individual one, no, whatever. I don't care. I am reading that as you get it on the shot, and that's it.
Just that activation.
I
don't know rules otherwise. I'm looking at you, WTC, are fucking smoking something good, and I want it.
I refuse. I don't want whatever that. I don't want whatever anyone. I don't want to be laced by spores. Whatever that time.
Yeah.
And then their Nurglings went up 5 points. Now, did Death Guard probably need some points changes? We spoke about the winner on the show last night, right? It's tracking 60.
Yeah.
Yes. But the book also came out like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. They've seen 3 weeks of tournament play.
And
these things are always written
not really, because BCP's API was down for most of that. So, like, data coming out was tabletop battles data.
Well, I mean, that tabletop battles data is...
Exactly, and that's Goonhammer.
It's good, it's just not...
Like, you can see it on the website, but it's fairly limited.
Maybe GW has a magic, like, way of getting data.
I'm sure. But there's not exactly been a ton of tournament data. Mostly what we've got is grumblings from people. And grumblings is a great way to make decisions, but it's not the only way to make decisions. I am optimistic that Death Guard are not in a position where they're going to be like, hey, you need a more DACA style balance update. But maybe they will, maybe they won't. I
don't think they need an emergency intervention, but I would rather not wait until September for them to be fixed.
That's true in both cases. I'd really like it like 2 days before WTC list submission, just for the pure chaos grenade.
Someone just shows up in Captain's chat. So we're using this?
Yeah, it's before list.
Rules lock was 2 weeks ago, so
like 2 days before rules lock.
Oh, okay. No, 2 days before list lock's more fun.
Yeah, rules lock is at the end of the month.
June 30th, yeah. And then your list lock is like July 16th. So
July 13th, I think, yeah.
Sure. July 10th, they drop a balance update that hits like Thousand Sons, Death Guard, and World Leaders, and everyone just kind of goes,
sorry for party rocking.
What are you guys doing about Space Wolves? We'll talk about that later.
I don't even know, dude. I'm not in the captain's chat anymore. I don't get any of this. I think the vague thing was they're going to use it if it has points, and it just got points in this document. So I think the plan's to use it. Okay. But I don't really know. Anyway, no one's going to play Space Wolves when we talk about Blood Angels. Like, What?
Yeah.
Drukhari. Space Wolves exist. Godspeed, Cody Giroux, and Pow, and Scary. You guys got some Reaper Wager buffs.
Yeah, but Reaper's Wager doesn't really work if you're running, like, the buff doesn't really give you anything if you're running the solo Drukhari list.
Well, it does now, because now once you kill the thing, you still keep your real ones to hit.
Oh, fair.
Like, they did buff Reaper's Wager, right? So the Reaper's Wager change was that Reaper's Wager now, even if you are winning the wager, you still get real ones to hit. And if you're losing the wager, you get real ones to hit and wound. And however, also, I mean, your Eldar player is gone for your team. He's gone. He's face down somewhere in a bathtub. You
can take your Harlequins now.
All the options for you want. Go take that Solitaire King. I believe in you. And then there were a few
some minor point drops on Mandrakes, Raiders, Ravagers, and Venoms. So
the Ravagers are Crow joking. How cheap can we make a Raider chassis before it's playable? And the answer is not 100 points.
Remember when they were 90?
Do you remember how terrifying 3 Dark Lances used to be, and now we just don't care?
Yeah.
Remember Disintegrators? Remember when they used to run 3 Disintegrators and they were next to the Archon that gave real ones to hit and wound? Ugh, bad times. They can stay bad. I'm okay with that. They should have to pivot 3.
Emperor's Children.
Okay, so no balance changes for Emperor's Children,
just
which
is
probably fine. And then points. So Fulgrim came down 20, which is cool. Sure, dude. Still not playable, but fine. Pledge of Unholy Fortune, which is the Flip a 6 enhancement, went up 10 points, which is good because it was the best attachment in the book, and it's now a little more expensive.
Yep.
Actually, sorry, best attachment in the detachment. Possessed Blade is better. The Demon Prince with Wings went up 20, Lucius went up 10, and Noise Rings went up 10, which I think, for where ECR, is a fairly measured set of changes.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel
like the most common
army.
coterie list loses 100 points.
Yep, which is like, take a unit out. Take a unit out, take a unit.
And they were trending in the high 50s, even with Death Guard being in the meta. So I think that they needed some kind of adjustment to bring them down. And in the context of everything we've seen so far, more than fair.
Yep, I think I'm not convinced Emperor's Children remain one of the best 5 armies in the game, but I don't think that's because of the points changes. And I still think they're pretty good. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were still one of the best 5 armies in the game once people get to grips with them. Like, there are versions of the build. We've seen, Arna playing Mauler Fiends and doing pretty well with those. We've seen versions that are a little lighter on the Princes. We've seen some Carnival builds. I think that if you were playing Carnival, there's probably a reasonable place you play Fulgrim at 3.8, 3.65. Like, maybe you're just like, yeah, okay, fine. He's not more expensive than 2 Princes now, so he's a little easier to justify. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I'm fully of the belief that someone out there will.
I have a commissioned Fulgrim on the way, so I will probably put him down at least once, and then maybe put him back.
You won't put him down because you won't find his place on the board. But you play against your opponent's 3 Soul Grinders and be like, haha, I'm easier to fit than you are.
The other thing that's interesting is, like, you can take like the current coterie list, drop the flip, and swap a Demon Prince for a Mauler Fiend, and it still works.
Yeah, and that seems pretty reasonable. You just play one Prince.
Yeah. Well, still 2 Princes.
Oh, 2 Princes. Sir, there are versions out there with 2 and 3 Princes.
Yeah. I've been playing the 3 Prince version because
3 Princes is pretty good.
Yeah.
You need to drop an enhancement and a thing to a thing, right? You either have to drop a unit of Tormentors, the 5 extra Infractors if you're playing that version, or a Prince down to something else. And that's fine. The army doesn't have a ton of options. Of course, it's going to be a little bit of a shuffle. I think these are fine. I think these are good changes.
Yeah. All right.
GSC Cults. So 2 buffs to Atalan Jackals and 1 buff to Pure Strains. Atalans came down 5 points per 5, and they're now only 2 resurgence points for a squad of 5 of them. And Genestealers came down to 2 resurgence points for a squad of 5 of them.
That's where that change was. I was trying to find that.
You might actually bring back Pure Strains and Bikes now. You just couldn't before because they were the same points as Acolytes, but cost 50% more resurgence points. Now they cost the same. Acolytes are still probably better most of the time, but they're not better all of the time now. And that introduces options and diversity and ability for skill expression. And that's only a good thing because this just does not matter. Like, it's not a bad change. It's not like breaking
it's a neutral change.
But it's purely for the benefit, right? Don't get me wrong. But it's for the benefit in a way that you are basically not going to notice, which is the best kind of for the benefit change, right? Because it's like, GS, you're fine. They don't really need help. But this opens up a couple of build options. A couple of builds. You could be like, oh, well, my Acolytes, my Genestealers died on turn 1, and actually, they're good in this matchup. Let me just bring them back. And you just do that now. And you don't have to be like, oh, man, this fucking sucks. Bring it back.
Yeah, that's 3. Then I have 7 left. What else am I going to bring back?
Another 3 of Genestealers.
And then I only get 2 Acolyte squads back.
Exactly. So, no, this is a great change. I would have liked to see the Neophytes come down to 2-5 instead of being 3-6, but I understand why they didn't. I'm a little sad that the 10-mans are still 3 points. But, baby steps.
Yep.
Other than that, no changes. GSC, we're very happy. We're very happy with all of these changes. GSC
yeah, definitely dodged a bullet.
What you want what you also want is you want there to be 50,000 Suns players out of 50 players every tournament you go to. You're gonna have the best time as a GSC Cup player right now.
All right, Grey Knights. One small tweak to rules. Warpbane, now you get your rerolls when you're punching something in melee.
I forgot about that. I forgot
because when they fixed it, when they eroded it last time so that you didn't get the indirect rerolls, they broke melee because you couldn't see if you were punching through a wall specifically, you did not get your rerolls because you couldn't see your target.
I don't think I at all tried to track that when I put against GSC last. I just let him have rerolls all the time, and there was probably at least once that he wouldn't have.
And well, the thing is that everyone knew what the intent was.
But that's not what it said.
No, but now it is specifically a range attack that targets a visible target or makes a melee attack.
Yeah, and then 10 mans of both variants of Terminators came down 20 points, putting them at the same. They're no longer paying a premium for the 10 mans. They're 200, 400, and 215, 430. And then the Brotherhood Championship came down 10. I don't think this does anything for Grey Knights, especially not for Warpbane. If you were gonna play Teleport Strike Force, there's probably you can probably squeeze in like a Munitorum Priest extra or some shit now, right? Like you get like an extra squad of Servitors or some shit. And that's strictly good for that army. But I don't think that army's strictly good.
I think they're middling the last few weeks.
We're also pretty sure GK are like we saw the new Dark Knight, right? They're getting a book reasonably soon.
Oh, we did? I didn't.
Yeah, they previewed the new Dread Knight with the flail and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, that thing. I thought we saw an actual roadmap where we'd know what's coming out.
Oh, I don't pay attention to the reroll myself anymore because they just lie to you.
So look, I'm still wondering where the hell my Imperial Knights went. They just keep going out to get smokes.
Getting Imperial fights.
All right, Imperial Agents.
No changes.
None
Imperial Knights. None needed.
No changes. Leaks of Votann, the most hilarious change ever.
Funniest changes in the world. These are great.
So you can now clown Car because for the Iron Master and the Grimnir, their little robot dudes don't take up space. So Ecogs and Corvs don't take up space, but the Ironkin Assistant still does. So it does mean that in a Sagittar that holds 6, you can put 15 models now by putting 3 Iron Masters in there.
You can do.
Can't go any higher.
Could you not do? Oh no, you could do Grimnirs and an Iron Master, or two Grimnirs, 2 Iron Masters.
Yeah, actually, that would be the best. That would get you 16 models.
And then in a land fort, you can get.
It holds 12, so you can put 3 of each.
3 of each for
9 slots.
9 slots each of 27, and then you could fill the other 3 slots with Einherjar champions.
Yeah, you could put 3 of each of those characters.
Or sorry, 3 calls. There you go. 30 models in your 12 capacity.
Yeah, so it would be 24. Yeah, 27 models total in that land fort now.
Hell yeah, I think you should do that.
I do like this change because it means that you can now do like a Grimnir with 5 warriors and a Sagittar.
Still can't do
Iron Master and 5 warriors.
Yeah, can you do Brokir? And Brokir Thunderkin is still too big for.
You can take the 3-man because they take up 3 spots each.
Okay, so you can do a 3-man now.
You can do 11, which you could never put a 6-man in there anyways. But now you can do a 3-man and an Iron Master and still have room left over for an E-champ.
That's maybe interesting. I don't think
they ever really needed him anyways.
I guess it means if you're taking the Forge Master anyway, you could put the Forge Master and 10 Berserks inside a land fort now.
Yeah, Forge Master can't lead Berserks though.
But you can just put them to the 2 units in it now to have 2 things inside the land fort for.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
pressuring up. So it helps out with like some transport assignment and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, it's generally a nice quality of life improvement. It definitely leads to some very funny looking things, but
Yeah, I don't think this is one of those changes again that's like an invisible change where like you'll notice it in the sense that you'll be like, oh, this makes this a little easier.
My initial response when reading this was, can I have a codex, please? Anything?
No, you will play Tim's list and you will like it.
Pretty much, yeah. All right. Necrons. What the fuck?
Why on earth? We're gonna do 2 of these today, right? We have 2 why on earths, and I'm cashing one of them in for Necrons. What the fuck? Why did Wraiths?
Doomstalkers down 5. Wraiths down 5 for 3, 6 for 10. Deathmarks down 5. Xeris down 10. The Solar Destroyer goes up 5. The Plasmancer goes down 5. The Scorpic Lord goes up 10. The Technomancer goes down 5. And then the Dermal Bond from Awakened Dynasty goes up 15. But like,
so yeah, I have to imagine that someone at Nottingham was just like, yeah, man, we just really like the play pattern of 18 Wraiths.
Yeah, 18 Wraiths just went down 45 points. No, more than that. 70 points.
45,
I can't do math.
And then 10 for no. If you're running like Doomstalkers, like the Josh style Awakened Dynasty list or Chronoptic Court list went down 15 on Doomstalkers, 30 on Wraiths,
15 on Technos,
10 on Seras, 15 on Technos, 15 on Plasmancers.
Josh, stop it.
And like, all right, has Chronoptic Court broadly been bypassed?
Sure, but you were seeing 12 Wraiths in Star Shatter builds.
You're going to see 12 and 18 Wraith Star Shatter just everywhere again. And
I don't want to deal with those.
Awakened list basically don't change because you're going to go up like your Wraith squads go down 25, your Wraiths go down 15, your Saras goes down 10, and then your one Soul Corporate Lord goes up 15. It's like, or goes up 25. It's like the same list, right? Like literally nothing changes.
Yeah. And we'll add that they got a buff. The Trackstalker doesn't need a base.
God, I love the Trackstalker. What a stupid.
I would love to see that thing on like 100 mil base.
160. Let's just it's on a monolith base. It probably fills one. I truly cannot fathom a world where you look at Necrons and you're like, yeah, Wraiths, they need to be better.
Yeah, like where's the love for anything else?
Were Necrons bad? Necrons weren't bad, right? They've been top 5 every time we've done stats for the last year.
Yeah, so for the last so right now in this patch, Necrons are sitting at a 55% win rate. That's with new Death Guard in here. Like they are currently doing better than EC.
I don't think this needed.
The only armies that are doing better than Necrons right now, the only armies that are doing better than Necrons right now are Death Guard, Imperial Knights, and Eldari.
Well, Eldari, I'm willing to bet, won't be doing better.
Imperial Knights will go unchanged.
Like if I was colorblind and I could only see the red changes, I'd be having a great time with this. This is like, yeah, man, you're hitting the most annoying parts of Awakened Dynasty. Maybe you put Warriors up like another 10. Like would it be fine? Why? Why are we doing this? Why do you hate us? Okay, I don't know what any of the Orc issues that went down do.
It's all the buggies.
Yeah, no, I know what they are. I don't know what they do.
They're largely bad, but I don't know, maybe coupled with the fact that the Cult of Speed detachment, which they all have the Speed Freaks keyword, now they can always advance, charge, and shoot. So
if someone tells me that they're playing that army and shows up to it unironically, I'll just let them do whatever they want. They could have told me they advanced and fell back already, and I'd have believed them. Okay, so let's actually do the Orc changes. So Big Mech with Shock Attack Gun up 10, Boys 20 mans up 10. Broadly, it seems like they don't like 20 mans of things. Flash Kits up 10 for 10 mans, 5 mans unchanged. Lutas up 15 for 10 mans, 5 mans unchanged. That feels unnecessary. Tank Busters up 5. Honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Trucks up 5, Zogrod up 10. That all feels fine.
I don't think Zogrod needed to change, but
I don't care. I think the
makes
Lutas
Brian
change
sad, that's for sure.
The Lutas change is probably too much. Zogrod feels fine. That guy's really good. And then Boom Daka Snaz Wagons, Def Copters, custom boom blasters, Megatrax scrap jets, rocket truck squig buggies, shock jump dragsters, and squig hog boys all came down 5 or 10 points per tier, as did the Smiggles module job dodge, and I'm not going to do that. I really can't do more than one. Every single one of those made my head hurt. I think I have a nosebleed now.
Yeah. Okay, Seth in chat. They're basically all AP 1 and damage 2 in it, so you have nothing to fear.
Sick. That's exactly what I wanted you to tell me. I'm going to look up the Megatrax Scrapjet because I know that one annoyed me in the past when it had insane guns. It does charge mortals. It has a wing missile. Does it have rapid fire? No. One wing missile and one rocket cannon, which is a tank buster. Okay. This is 75 points. I don't think this is very good.
No, they're not.
What about the rocket truck? The rocket truck indirect buggy?
It does something special against.
It still has indirect, but it does hit on 6s. It slows things, and it has squig mines. Oh, they let tank busters use both their bomb squigs. I think
once per battle for each bomb squig this unit has. After the unit ends a normal move. Are you still after when you use the first one?
Probably. I don't fucking know. I've chosen to give up on knowing how after works in this game.
Oh, I agree. Timing in this game is a bit.
I just let my opponent do it now. I'm like, yeah, dude. Can I smoke an armor contempt at the same time, please? Just can I? I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Do they only have one squig? Well, that's a shame. All right, Space Marines. Are we gonna do all the Space Marines as a bulk at the end? Actually, let's do that.
Yeah.
Because then we can just go through Tau and Tyranids.
Yeah, Tau, for the greater good, got reworked fairly substantially. Now you choose all of your guiding units and what they're going to spot at the beginning of your shooting phase, and then you go do your shooting phase.
Which is probably good. And then guide now is unit to army guide, right?
Yes. So basically, if I take a stealth suit and I look at you, everything in my army gets +1 ballistic skill, and everything in my army gets reroll 1s to hit and reroll 1s to wound against you.
And ignore cover if it has the marker.
Ignore cover if, well, stealth suits have marker light, so.
Sure. And then Kaoyun is now sustained 1 and ignore mods.
If you are guided.
If you're guided. And then a few of the enhancements, got buffed. So through Unity Devastation, it gives everything lethal hits against that target, and the coordinated exploitation for Montka gives everything sustained 1. So you can get the other buff against one thing. And then the Farsight team gets reroll hit rolls when he shoots. The Pathfinder team gets the benefit of being guided when it shoots something that it guided against, and stealth teams went up 20 points to compensate for them being
broadly. I think that this is a good quality of life change, but I don't know if it's necessarily a good change from a gameplay setup, because now you are planning your entire shooting phase and then executing it, and you don't have the reactive of I wish I had a guide here.
I like it from a tracking perspective. It feels a lot easier to deal with that. It also gets rid of stuff like it feels a lot easier to handle. Does it still care about being battle shocked and stuff like that, or is that all gone as well? Still cares about battle shock.
Yeah, you can't be battle shocked in guide.
Yeah, okay. That feels less impactful, so definitely a nerf to Tyranids. The fact that you can't guide mid-phase against something that, for example, falls out of a Rhino is definitely a cost. Oh, and notably as well, the split fire penalty is gone. So Tau can freely split fire now. And I think that's the biggest part of it that's actually a buff, is that it does help for stuff like suit squads with a commander that's maybe differently loaded out, right? For example, the Fire Knife teams that have full hit rules against units of starting strength, you could also run a commander with 4 melters in that squad now, and that commander can split fire off somewhere else, and you can have a multiple targeting different places.
And even just all the vehicles, because you have all of the random shitter guns that want to shoot at chaff, and then the big guns that want to shoot at vehicles. Now you don't have a penalty for doing that.
Yep.
In fact, you can actually just go into 2 different spotted units.
Yeah, and get +1 to hit against both of them, and just hit on 2s. Also, notably, the guided units don't have to. The unit being guided far no longer has to see the target, which means that you could just get rerolls. For or you can get your +1 for indirect and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely
Which doesn't make a huge difference for them because it's basically just
SMS maybe
goes
like
from
an
5s to
occasional
4s.
airburst. But like the experimental cadre enhancement for the buff pew pew airburst.
Go away.
Like,
no one wants that.
It exists, right? It's a thing that you could conceivably do that has a bit more juice to it now. And then stealth went up 20 points. Coordinated exploitation and unit devastation are both 40 now, which I feel like is probably fine, but also is
the
like
buffs that they give are now
it's
very powerful.
Shock. Yeah, you look at you're like, yeah, that's army wide sustained against that unit, or army wide lethal against that unit.
Yeah,
that's a good fucking buff.
That unit also dies horribly,
but it is
as soon as you show up because
you're telling me you're not putting that on a Firesight Marksman with Lone Up, because that's what I'd be doing.
Can you?
I'm pretty sure it's just Town Empire.
No, it's just the Crude Shapers that can't take him. Yeah, you're right.
Like, that feels pretty good on a Farsight Marksman, right? Just army-wide sustained or lethal against that target is pretty solid, no? Oh, it needs to lead a unit. God, that's so garbage.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was one of the things that people were doing early in the codex, is that they would put it on the Firesight, use it, and then people would point out to them that doesn't work because you have to be leading a unit.
Okay, so you have to do it on like...
Yeah, they both require while the bear is
leading. You're
doing
it on like an ethereal or some... don't like that. Yeah, okay, I can see. Those probably don't need to be 40 points.
All right, Thousand Suns. Perfect.
I think the type changes are fine, but could be better.
They're good quality of life, and they're good for tracking because there's no more of the has that guided yet. Our locals have taken into a really good habit of just putting tokens down with everything, and I love seeing that. Now they don't have to like track it throughout the phase. They just do it at the beginning and go,
yeah,
I have 6 observer units that can all see these 6 units. That.
Yeah, I think it seems like as a person playing against Tau, it's going to make my life a lot easier. As a person playing Tau, I might find it a little weaker. I personally did look at it and go, ooh, split fire penalty's gone. Tiger Sharks. But each their own.
Tiger Shark that can't act until turn 3.
I'm just saying, it can act on turn 2 if you go second.
Sure.
All right. T-Suns, no changes. Not unsurprising, given that the
just
came out on Saturday, right?
Yeah. Tyranids.
All right. There is a lot here. First of all, the tyrant died for Gulliman's sins. Fuck you, Gulliman. How fucking dare you? We've been getting by just fine all edition with our bullshit little character.
And then someone pointed out that, hey, maybe it shouldn't be per turn. It should be per battle round for Gulliman. And then they went, what else has that?
Fucking bullshit. fucking. What the fuck?
But they did get some pretty substantial point drops to compensate.
And, well, let's do the cycle. Let's just finish up with the balance data slate. Tyranids have finally got access to one of the 3 stratagems they didn't have access to, but it's not grenade.
Smokescreen.
It's not tank shock. The Psychophage does now have the smoke keyword. Along with now being a little castigator for melee only, and being movement 12 instead of movement 8, and being flat 6 attacks at AP2 instead of AP1 in combat now. I don't dislike the Psychophage. It's still kind of okay.
It's pretty durable is the big thing.
Yeah, it's like toughness. It's like toughness 8 or 9 with a feel no pain and a good
10 wounds.
It's 115 points now. It went up like 15. It's okay. I'm kind of interested in Crusher specifically. It's not DC +1 attacks anymore, which makes me so happy.
The DC +1 attacks was so shit.
God, it was so bad.
I'm amazed. I'm amused that they didn't like make it like flat 4 or 5. They just went, just make it 6.
Yeah, it fucking needed it. It was garbage.
I know.
And then. No longer having the 6-inch aura of Feel No Pain is definitely meaningfully gone. That was a powerful rule. But it was also one of those ones that like you very rarely noticed it unless it was frustrating your opponent to no end. And being +1 AP in melee is definitely one of Tyranid's biggest gatekeepers for damage output. Being able to push like your Tyranid warriors to AP3, Hive Tyrants to AP3, all that kind of stuff, right? Like it's you can actually like really, really to an insane degree buff Hormagaunts in Synaptic Nexus now, where you're like, so there are rural ones to hit and wound, +1 strength, +1 to wound, and +1 AP. And then they just go in and just like shred stuff. It's kind of funny. The number of vehicles I've taken out with Synaptic Nexus Hormagaunts is already pretty decent, and you can get it pretty high with that. Then there were some points drops. Then there was a new Rabbit data sheet, and then there was a detachment. So let's do points. So the Psychophage up 15 to 110. totally fine. Just got buffed. Hiveguard down 10 and 20 for 3 and 6. Doesn't matter, guys.
Both Hive Tyrants down 30.
Don't play Hiveguard. Yep, I think more interesting on the Walkeren. The Flyrant still has big doesn't do anything problems.
Does he get interesting in Final Day?
If he still did strats in both turns, the problem is that all the good strategies are his ability's Tyranid locked. It's not anything, which means that you can't hit it for the Genestealer units, which is where you would want the free strats, because all the good strategies are Genestealer Cult based. The Screamer Killer came down 10, which the Screamer Killer is like pushing to that point where I'm like, that thing is really cheap. It's 135.
It's getting in Ballistas territory.
Yeah, it's cheaper than a Ballistas right now. Now it still.
I mean that like from like it's just a cheap, durable platform that can be really annoying.
For sure. And it's like 8 or 9 attacks, 10 attacks. It's AP3, AP2 damage 3. Buff that with a Psychophage. It's starting to be at the point where I'm like, in Crusher, that's probably a real data sheet. Outside of Crusher, I would still worry, but I've definitely seen some in Vanguard for pushing some Battle Shocks. Same thing with Nexus. It's okay.
10 attacks at 10-2-3, which means in Synapse it's 11-2-3.
Yep. Swarmlord down 20 to 220. I still don't like the Swarmlord. I don't think he does enough. +1 CP is good. Vector is good. His melee profile is okay. His flamer is okay. But he's like, he'd be a really good individual 40-point model, and 120-point monster. But he's a terrible 220-point monster.
Yeah. Also because he just dies the minute that someone
Dude, he is built of like sticks and stones and bubblegum. Yeah. I've been seeing some talk of like throwing him in really aggressively in Subterranean Assault, which like I could see, but I feel like there's just better things to do that with, like Maliceptors. Then we have the new Ravener data sheets. There are 2 of them. One is a 5-man squad of generic Raveners. So Raveners went from having you always have the armor carapace now, so they're 4-up save base. They still have the up down. They are, instead of being 7 attacks at 5-1-1, they are 3 attacks at 5-2-2, which is, for what it's worth, a profile we don't have in Tyranids a ton. There's not a lot of damage to in this army. You know, Warriors, Von Ryan Sleepers, Raveners, Melee Warriors, Genestealers, all of these things were sitting at AP 1 or 2, damage 1. And the universal constant across all of them was lots of attacks. And Raveners have come and said, well, what if instead of having lots of attacks, we had not very many attacks? So the unit for 125 points now, which is the same points per model as old Raveners, has technically lost damage, I put in the sense that it doesn't have 21 attacks for 3 anymore. It's now 15 attacks for 5. But it's a little bit more like you have an access to damage too now, right? If you need this profile in Tyranids, there is actually access to it. I compare it to Blade Guard and it makes me weep just a little bit. But comparing things to Blade Guard is how you make yourself sad in Tyranids. So don't do that. They still opt out, and they do have the new Burrower keyword, and they maintain the Vanguard Invader keyword. Then we have the Hyper Adapted Raveners, which is one of the strangest data sheets in the game.
I don't know what they're doing here.
So it's a character unit of 1 and 4. So it's like a Gollum and Calgar Celestine style character plus 4 dudes. And then they're all the same profile as the regular Raveners, except the Prime has an extra 3 wounds and an extra 3 attacks. And then all of them are anti-monster, anti-vehicle 5+ with twin linked. One of them has a gun. They have sustained hits, and they free rapid and heroic, even if another unit's been targeted. And they have synapse, and they're a character, which means they can hold enhancements. But they're 165 points, and they can attach to Raveners. And I don't understand who is looking at these data sheets and going, yeah, 190 points for my 10-man Ravener squad. Who is this for?
290. You said 190.
290.
190 would be a steal.
I guess 290.
Okay.
And like, you can give them enhancements, and it's kind of an interesting place to be able to have enhancements. Like, Nids have some. If you want to play
they do have the Vanguard Invader keyword. So
they have all the keywords. If they had Harvester, I'd be all over it. Assimilation Sword. So like, there are some genuinely jacked enhancements you can give these guys, and I'm still just not sure that I like them at all. I don't like the 5-man. I don't like the character unit. I hate the 10-man, and I'll play one of the 5s because like they do something unique, especially in Subterranean Assault, which we're going to get to. They're kind of interesting in Invasion Fleet, but
one thing that frustrates me with
what's this unit meant to be, man?
I don't know. The other thing that's frustrating is that you have just Raveners with the Prime, and then you have the unit of Raveners. So they're both Ravener models, but the Raveners that come with the Prime have the heavy claws and talons. The regular ones don't. So if you're running them together, you're gonna have to differentiate between.
Well, they're different models because they're the kill team, like the special ones. They have like special.
Are they actually that different?
I think so. They're like actually quite different models. Let me kill team Typhon. I'm gonna just show people.
But I mean, you're making the Raveners out of this kit both ways. So are they going to be actually that different looking?
Oh no! So like, let me screen share this because I'm invested now. Chrome tab. There we go. So so in the squad you got the Prime, which is this one, and then you've got all the special ones. So you got the Fell Talon, the Terror Scythe, the Wrecker, and the Venice, which is the one that has a gun, and then you have the generic one, which is the Warrior. So the Warriors are the squad of 5, and then the other 5 are the command squad style.
Are we sure about that?
Pretty sure, yeah. Yep, pretty sure. So yeah, this is the sort of generic, because this is how they do kill team naming conventions, right? They have the 5 specialists and then the generics. So you've got the generic ones.
Yeah, but this kill team isn't 10 models.
No, I know. You would buy 2 boxes of 5, and you could build 5 of them as the generics, I believe. I think that's the only way it makes sense to me. So we'll see. They seem. Look, I want to believe in 3 squads of 10 in detachment, and you're just like, turn 2, baby. It's time to rapid ingress all 3 of them, because they can repeat rapid. And that seemed like, I'm sure it's kind of interesting. It's not going to be me that's playing that. Someone else could do that one. All right. But then we have, again, a really weird detachment.
I think this was written just because the new Raveners are coming out.
So this detachment makes total sense to me for every single thing except the first goddamn line of the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know why that's there.
So what is that first line in it?
So let's do everything else.
Okay.
So the first thing is, when your borrower units, which is Molochs, Trigons, and Raveners, set up from reserve, they also bring with them a little tunnel that they set up within one of them and more than 3 away from your enemies. And then when your reinforcement units come in from reserve, they can just come in within 9 of a tunnel marker and outside 6 of your opponents. So you get 6-inch deep strike. Basically army wide with asterisks. And your opponent can kill tunnels by going within 3 of them. It's really powerful. This is an insanely good rule.
Because there's also no timing. Like, you can set up a guy and then use it to 6
so like, I'll get to it. Like, I'll talk to some of the turn 1 combos. This is, I played 1 game of the new Dataslate. I played against this because I was like, I need to just see this on the table to be able to talk about it. Then you can give Trigons, up to 2 of them, the character keyword, which means they can have enhancements, and also they can use the precision strat, which is kind of terrifying.
Fucking yeah.
So there are 4 enhancements. Obviously, one is rapid ingress, and rapid ingress for free, even if you've already targeted another unit. So theoretically, in this army, you could have 4 units rapid ingress for free on turn 2, plus your paid rapid ingress. Yeah.
3 of the new round
3 of the new,
one with this. Oh god.
Yeah, you can do a lot of like, hey, by the way, the game is happening right here, right now.
Raveners don't have the restriction on like 1 unit can use this.
Nope.
God damn it,
restrictions. Tyranids don't do restrictions. This is a 9th edition Tyranid data sheet. That's the only thing I can think about.
Apparently,
it's once we're down around, you can target this unit. It's not 1 unit with his ability, like Lord of Contagion.
Yeah.
Okay, then you've got redeploy 3 units, which is fine. You've got turn 1 deep strike for the Tyranid unit, which pretty good on a Trigon, pretty good on Raveners, interesting enough. And then you've got Trigon Prime, which is Synapse, +1 strength and +1 weapon skill, which is pretty solid. Pushes the Trigon Prime to strength 11 in melee and hitting on 2s. And we'll get back to
strength 12, no, because now they have Synapse.
No, it's base 9.
Oh, okay.
So it goes to 11. Yeah,
gotcha.
I can do math. mostly.
I don't know. I thought they were strength 10.
No, strength 10 in Tyranids.
We just went through the Screamer Killer, which is strength 10.
Yeah, the Screamer Killer is dog shit. Okay. Stratagems. Pick a command in the command phase. Until the start of your command phase, you can give a Moloch or Trigon Synapse. This is fine. It's +1 strength. It's probably, if you're like going to auto pass one, just chuck Synapse on them. You'll probably pass it, and then you can also get +1 strength. Maybe. I still feel like I'd just auto pass. If you've already auto passed, you still need to pass a morale check. That's what this is for. Replenishing Swarms.
Yeah.
In your movement phase, you can get D3+1 wounds back if you're within 9 of a tunnel marker, or D3+1 models with 1 wound remaining. This is your heal some Termagant stratagem, or your heal your Trigon. You've got the Genestealer Cult Close of Ascension buff, sustained hits and ignore cover that lasts till the end of your next fight phase when you come in from reserve, which is kind of gas, to be honest. Dropping that on like a Maliceptor that comes out of reserve and just being like sustained hits, ignore cover, shoot, then charge with keeping the sustained hits buff is kind of interesting. Also pretty good on a Moloch or the old One Eye unit. So very, very interesting little buff. Tunnel Network, you can teleport a unit from one ambush from one tunnel marker to another. Notably, this does not count as deep strike, so it does not trigger Moloch's mortal wounds on setup, because that's specifically off of deep striking, but it does do other things. But mostly it's not locked to like turn stuff, so you could do this on one theoretically if you can find a way to get through tunnel setup, which isn't that hard when Ravagers can up down. And there's a turn 1 deep strike enhancement. Then you've got a 6-inch aura of reroll charges in your charge phase, which is great when you're rolling 6-inch charges. You're just like, I'm going to throw 7 6-inch charges that are all rerollable. You're going to hit a lot of them. Pretty good. And then you've got go back into strat reserve for 1 Tyranid unit or 2 borrower units, which just says lift up 2 Molochs or Trigons, which again is pretty great. Or it's like lift up a Maliceptor or that Tyrannifex that's on the wrong side of the board. Just put it. So this is a pretty cool detachment. It's got some really good juice. It's got some really interesting options, decent amount of power, lots of flexibility, lots of ability. And then it also has army-wide reroll 1s to hit. For some reason. And I don't
know why they put that in there.
Don't know why it has that. I don't understand what the like.
It's almost like they're just like, oh, this detachment isn't good enough. We need to give it something. And they're just like, can we flavor it? Nah, reroll 1s.
It's not even like reroll 1s when you set up from reserve or something like that. That would like make sense. It's just flatly. Moloch mortals do still work when you show from a tunnel because you are just allowed to set up differently.
But it doesn't work from tunnel network, which is the reposition.
Stratagem. Yeah. So we've been working on this one a bit because obviously I love Tyranids, and you could do some bullshit with this detachment. The one that I honed in on immediately. If you have a Ravener squad in your army, on turn 1, you go second. You turn 1, you borrow your Ravener squad from the ability. You go into your turn 2. You set up your Ravener squad anywhere on the board outside 9 of your opponents, and then they set up a tunnel marker next to them. You set up that tunnel marker such that it's in 9 of a Maliceptor that's in your backfield. And then you use the turn 1 deep strike enhancement on your Trigon to set up 6 away from your opponent within 9 of that tunnel marker so that it can still charge. And then that sets up a tunnel marker when it comes in from reserve. And then at the end of your turn 1, you also use the strategy to pick up 2 Molochs. And then you pick up, and then those 2 Molochs, because they start on the board, are allowed to turn 1 deep strike. And then they deep strike next to those tunnel markers, 6 away from your opponent, and set up 2 more tunnel markers. And then you use the strategy to teleport your Maliceptor to one of those tunnel markers. And then you use the 6-inch stratagem because you have +1 CP because you're Hive Tyrant, and you're just like, cool, free strat. And then they all get rerollable charges. And then you slam a Maliceptor, a Trigon, Raveners, and two Molochs directly into your opponent's front line on turn 1.
I hate it.
It's just crazy. You can get so much beef in your opponent's face so quickly. It's all pretty consistent. It's hitting on 3 rolling 1.
Every Zerg player's Nidus network moment.
Sure, I don't play StarCraft. It's very fast. It's very explosive. It's very powerful. It's still Tyranid monsters with no invulns. That's the biggest like. So I played a game against this today, and they sure did charge my front line and make a goddamn mess. And then they exploded because they're toughness 10, no invul. And so for me, I'm like, getting Maleceptors in the fray, getting the Swarm Lord potentially. I don't like the Swarm Lord that much, but Maleceptors feel like the thing to deliver because they're short range, they have melee and shooting, they can access the thing behind the thing you're screening, or behind the thing you're hitting with your screen, and they give you a durability buff for everything because they have that 600 minus one to hit. I like that. I could see doing it with the infantry stuff as well. Gargoyles coming out of a tunnel is a war crime because you just set up outside 6 of, and within that of the tunnel, you're just like, I'm everywhere, and then you fire and fade 6 inches forward. And you're just like, you're an inch off of your opponent's deployment, off your inch of deployment line or screen line. Assimilators can come out of reserve and charge at 4 inches with the harpoons. There's lots and lots of interesting things here. It's a really powerful detachment. It's still knit data sheets though, and that's my biggest like. But it's knit data sheets with army order ones to hit, and that is pretty good. So I'm optimistic. I liked it. I enjoyed playing against it. I'm gonna give it a try myself again. I keep being like, just play 4 Norns. Just play 4 Norns in this. 4 Norns, 3 Trigons, 3 Molochs. Let's do it. You'll have fun.
Please no.
I think all the knit stuff, slam dunk, great changes. Very happy with it. I don't know if I love this detachment from like hey, if this detachment's good, you're gonna start seeing infiltrators again, and then your army does turn the fuck off. But your opponent shows up with like a librarian with infiltrator squad, and you're just like, huh, yeah, that's. I don't actually have a plan for that.
Oh no, you ingress for free, and then
what
you
if
run at them.
What if they're behind a wall outside an inch of the wall?
Skill issue.
And there's 6 blade guard behind them with fight first, so your Raveners can't charge them. Yeah, I think this is a super cool detachment. I think it's really flavorful. I think it's really cool. I just don't get why it has reroll once. What a bizarre line of text to put as the first one. All right.
World
I have 35 minutes left. Let's get
perfect because I have 25 minutes left.
Sick. We're going to speedrun Marines.
World Leaders, they clarified that the Disciples of Khorne enhancement for the Juggernaut does get blessings, which is pretty cool. And they fixed the Warp Walker stratagem where it actually works properly when you're doing charge moves.
Good.
Cool.
Nothing of value was lost.
Yeah. All right. It was of course that works that way. Stop being idiots.
All right. Space Marines. Generic Space Marines.
All right. Generic Space Marines.
Is same charge as the Tyranids. Once per battle round for his free strap. Totally
and
fine.
Calgar has to be your warlord to get the CP, which
and they came
should have
down
always been the case.
10 and 20 points to compensate, which I think is totally fine.
Yeah, it wasn't needed.
I think it's totally fine. They're both still really good. I don't think Gladius moves a goddamn fucking inch in
Let's
the
talk
metagame.
about heavy intercessors, Innes.
Do we have to? I don't think they're that good, man.
They went down 10 points. They're now 100 for 5.
We played that. We played those test games for LVO where I was
remember,
playing
but like that unit's now 20 points cheaper, maybe.
No, I don't.
Actually, no. That unit's now 30 points cheaper because Calgar went down 10 for some goddamn reason.
It just doesn't do anything, man.
I know, and sometimes you fail to roll your 3-ups.
The most interesting place for that army is 60 of them in Righteous Crusaders with the Feel No Pain.
You're not wrong,
and I think that's. Do you know what, Ed Watts? Go nuts. But
yeah, aggressors went down 20. They're 100 points for 3 now.
Does Fire Discipline still suck?
I mean, yes.
Well, then they're not going to be good because Fire Discipline was the only thing making that unit playable.
Yeah.
Godspeed Salamanders players.
Yeah, and then the captain with jump pack went down. Van Vets are 95
Van
for 5
Vets
now.
Came down
That's actually pretty
15.
interesting.
Van Vets are not good in not Blood Angels, but
they're 5 points more than JPIs. You lose the charge models, but you get lethals and an invuln.
And a point of strength.
So, like,
I could see Gladius wanting these instead.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. The strength 5 is a pretty big deal.
It is. So, I don't know. The invuln's also just a really big one because it means they're a lot more annoying to deal with.
They really don't do anything. I don't know if anybody's ever played with Van Vets. They really sure do charge in and, like, tickle things. They are AP1.
But
maybe in Gladius. I don't know. Maybe I was building Dark
Liberator, they're a lot of fun.
In Liberator, they're a goddamn war crime, but they're still AP1. And that's a real problem. Because, like, I don't know, man. They're only 15 points cheaper than Sanguinary Guard. All right.
Oh, yeah. I guess let's talk about Blood Angels first, then.
All right. So, Blood Angels.
This is your second what the fuck?
This is our second what the fuck, right? Why? I know Blood
everything
Angels
that was not good. Being seen in tournament play went down.
Congratulations to Jack. You said in the article, right? Congratulations
to Jack Harpster winning LVO 2025 if we play these rules.
So, okay, Astrath down 10. Does not matter. Ball Predator down 10. Borgia's going to have a great time. Mephiston down 15. all right, compared to Lucius, I understand, but a 30-point differential between those data sheets still feels wrong. Dante down 10.
Wasn't needed.
Okay. Death Company Dreadnought down 20. Sure. I don't know what that does. Death Company with jump packs down 10 for both layers. I'm still not that interested, but fine. Lamarty's down 10. Sanguinary Guard down 20 and 20, so 110 and 240 is insanity.
Criminal?
Why on earth are 3-man Sanguinary Guard squads are 110 for
3 JPIs?
15 attacks at 832, by the way, that unit has. And it's OC6. It can flip an objective off a Chaos Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. And the thing is that the jump captain went down and Dante went down. So like
I don't even think the jump captain touches the fucking site outside of Angelic Inheritors.
No, but that's what I mean. Like the Angelic one where you're taking 3 of those little skirmish squads just gained 100 points.
185 for 3 Sanguinary Guard with a captain. They're 732 on the charge with real ones to hit and wound. I don't and the Sanguinary Priest can die 15 and is the data sheet that exists.
No, it exists, yeah.
So like the Olivier lag list gained like 40 points, 50 points,
which isn't nothing because it was already a really good list.
Straight up gains like enough points to change the shitty 3-man Inceptor squad to Mephiston, so that it's got Meph and Sanguinor, and also add a scout squad to just like shore up all its squad.
Yeah, no, more than that even.
Sure, but like it has enough to do those 2 things. Like that's what I wanted to do. That's all
the army that almost won that finished like what 3rd at LVO.
LVO, yeah.
Now has has
an extra scoring unit and gets to change out Inceptors to a good unit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. I don't get it. I don't get why people looked at Blood Angels and were like, yeah, buffs to the things that people were
Blood
playing.
Angels themselves have, like, stats wise on the aggregate, have been struggling. But these aren't the data sheets that you needed to, especially the Sanguinary Guard data sheet was not the one you needed to touch.
It's insane to me that they buffed Sanguinary Guard. Okay. Space Wolves, we got confirmation of the points that were in the Goonhammer article a couple weeks ago. So stuff like Wolfen are 100, Thunderwolves are 120. Have a read of it. Until we actually see the Space Wolf book in print, it's hard to kind of
watch. No changes. Black Templars. They started to revert some of the point hikes that they gave Primaris Crusaders and Sword Brethren, but they're still quite expensive. Like the 20-man Crusader squad is still 310 points. It only went down 10. Sword Brethren at 140, maybe.
So like there is good damage in Black Templars. There is no staying power.
Yeah.
And really that's what I'm looking for out of like a Marine thing. I need to go in and live, not go in and explode a thing, because like you can do that with every army. Calgar goes in and kills something and stands there, real annoying, and reactive moves back behind a wall. Dante goes in and like goes beyond, like he goes like 3 layers beyond the thing because he moves like 45 inches. He moves like a Kraken Genestealer. Black Templars are like, yeah, dude, we are 6 in an impulsor, and Blade Guard do that too.
Yeah, Roy, I don't think you can do the Black Tide list. I think it's still too high.
320 still for Crusaders, right?
310, but yeah.
310, yeah. 310 still too much.
Because they were what, 280
when it was 280 when it was good.
So you're still like 100 points over where it was. And there's a lot of things right now in the meta that would love to shoot at that. All right, let's talk Dark Angels. Last of the Marines.
Dark Angels. So broadly, no points changes, right?
No points changes.
No points changes, right? Let's talk
one
about
data sheet got changed.
One data sheet and one detachment, and then we're going to finish up with broad thoughts. Do you want to talk about the Lion? I can't, for the life of me, get a read on if I like the Lion or not. Is he good? I can't tell.
So the Lion is still 315 points, so he's still 10 points cheaper than Guilliman, but he's still 30 points more than. No, sorry, he remains the cheapest Primarch. We'll leave it at that. So they reworked his Supreme Commander ability, so the choose 3. So he still has the 12-inch aura of 4 Feel the Pain against mortals, which is just good. Martial Exemplar, which before was +1 to hit in a 6-inch aura for melee, is now reroll 1s to hit and to wound in melee, which
is big for himself. I think that's
just for himself alone. That's amazing because he hits on 2s and like his sweep is sustained.
He
so
wounds on 2s or 3s into basically everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably does kill 3 Shadow Legion Nurglings.
Yes, probably.
Maybe.
And then he has 16 attacks at damage 2, so
maybe. He's only strength 6, right? So
yeah,
he wins them on 4s.
No.
Oh no, they're only T3. Yeah,
he still wounds them on 3s.
He's probably fine.
He's rolling ones to hit and wound now, so that's pretty good. And then the other one, so they removed the all secrets are revealed, which was the really weird one of a 12-inch aura of
the worst Vex in the game.
Yeah, because it was a once per turn. Your opponent used a stratagem within 12. You gained a CP, and then they had to take a battle shock test. And if they failed it, the stratagem still counted as being used, but the effects dissipated. Cool. Now it's Uppy Downy in your command phase,
which is insane because
which means just like draw your cards and go, oh, I need behind enemy lines, and there's a hole back there for the line.
More importantly, it's turn 1 I'm going first. He's upping and rapid ingressing next turn in
or just deep striking on my turn,
or rapid ingressing in your opponent's 1.
Yeah, like it's he now has the I drew cards that I wouldn't be able to score except for him. He's now over there and he's going to charge your backfield.
Yeah, he's the best Ophidian destroyers in the game, bro. that's the Lion's selling point. Yeah, the Lion really makes my scouts feel obsolete.
And then the other thing, and then the last change was the Emperor's Shield. Now, in addition,
instead of the mortal wound bounce back in melee,
it's now -1 to be wounded if the strength's higher than his toughness, which
I missed
real
the
solid.
Old one, but it's fine.
The old one was a flat -1 to wound, and we don't like seeing flat -1s to wound. Looking at you, Scarab Occult Terminators. I loved it. I loved running at someone and saying your bolters on 6s. Have fun.
Really think he might be okay in Gladius.
Yeah,
but I also really think he might be dog shit, and I can't tell. I just, much like the Ravener data sheet. Now,
Azrael doesn't have to be Warlord to get CP, right?
No, he does not. He's only 25 points more expensive than 10 Raveners. So it's my new metric. It's just garbage town.
Yeah. So that's the changes to him. I think he's solid. I don't know if he's definitely not an auto take, but I think
my head. Why? Yeah. If he had the Deathwing keyword, man, I would just be like all over it.
Yes. If he had the Deathwing keyword, he would be a genuine problem.
Let's talk about the Rock.
Yeah. So we have Wrath of the Rock.
Which is just an awful detachment name, but at least it's not Champions of Caliban, because I was so ready for it to be that.
Yeah. Their detachment rule is hilarious. All of your infantry mounted in your army gain the Lion's Shield rule, where if the strength's higher than your toughness, you're -1 to be wounded.
It's gonna be really funny when your Deathwing Knights get wounded on a shit. It's still 2s by Vindicators. Fuck.
That was 3s.
Oh.
Yep.
Me. It's a good rule. It's a really good rule.
Yeah.
Shocking nobody. Transhuman is powerful. It's not transhuman, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. 15 Deathwing Knights with this sounds very funny.
Hey, 60 assault and 60 heavy intercessors. Let's do it.
T6 -1 to be wounded if you're hitting with strength 7 or
Plus
higher.
One save if your strength is damage 1
and on an objective. Yeah. Could be fun.
Okay.
Enhancements, you get a reroll leadership, don't care.
Actually, solid on the Lone Up Lieutenant. I actually quite like it there.
Sure.
It helps you against like Nids, Demons, Chaos Knights. It's not expensive. It goes on the character.
It is 10 points, actually, so I guess
it's a really solid little enhancer for 10 points. Do not knock how good this is.
Fair.
It's also leadership checks, not just battle shock, so it comes up for more things than you would think.
The leadership, yeah, that's fair. All right. I forgot.
I don't dislike this. If you've got 10 points, you are not going to be unhappy putting this in your list.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Ancient weapons, the usual hilarious +2 strength and +1 AP and damage on a melee weapon.
It's really funny on a Gravis Captain. It's not good there though because he doesn't.
That was exactly what I pointed to. I went to it. And I went.
The Judicar is very in love with this.
Yes.
Judicar with
9.
Judicar with Inner Circle Companions is a very, very good place to have this.
Yeah, it goes to 9/3/3.
Yes, 9/3/3 Dev Wounds.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a really good place to have that.
Even with the Sultans.
Yeah, it's not bad on like the Smash Captain and Sternguard either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no attack benefit is a little sad, but
that's fine. That's what the captain's for.
Yep.
Deathwing Assault, turn one deep strike.
Yep.
Fine.
Turn 1 deep strike. Your movement phase only. We're not getting Storm Lanced, but
yeah.
And then a really
Lord
sad
of the Ravenwing, it's 10 points to reroll advance and charge rolls, which you can put on
you're not going to have a character that can take this. Don't worry about it.
No, you're not. And then stratagems.
Veterans of the Long War, move oath.
They got double oath. It just costs 2 CP now.
Yeah, instead of getting CP, you can spend CP. You know what? It's fine. Yeah. It's an okay strat to like captain free strat as well, for 1 CP to move your oath. Yeah. It's fine. You'll never be upset to have it.
And it's got some restrictions on it where it has to be a unit that's within 12 of your character and visible to them. So there's like, probably doesn't need to be 2 CP, but it probably should be 2 CP, because if not,
it can't be 1 CP, but it's not worth 2 CP is kind of where I have it at.
Yep. Lion's Will, +1 OC, and if you're not Deathwing, Ravenwing, or vehicle, you get +1 to hit for the rest of till your next command phase.
Printing stratagems that are Guilliman's auras.
Pretty much, yeah.
AOC.
Yep.
Advanced Mastery. Yep. It's good. It's good.
And then if you're Ravenwing, you also get to shoot and declare charge.
This is the one I was thinking of when we talk about Chaos Space Marines. This is anything. So you can use this on the Lion, you can use this on bikes, you can use it on whatever you want.
The big thing here is that because of the Ravenwing rider on it, it triggers.
Samuel gets the +1.
Samuel gets the +1 to his advance and charge rolls.
But you're never going to use this for +1 to charge on Samuel. That's just a crazy use of a stratagem.
No, but
yes, you can pop Lion's Will in both command phases for +2 OC. Because it's still the start of your next command phase. So if you use it at yours and then your opponents, you'll be +2 OC. Use that on your Storm Ravens, bro. Storm Raven to OC 2.
Relics of the Dark Age. This is the old, like, hey, remember weapons from the Dark Age? Well, now you just get either infantry or mounted +2 strength.
Yeah, it's pretty good. No complaints. I don't think it's one of the stratagems of all time, but it's very frequently this is +2 to wound. It's +2 to wound if you're going from below to above. It's almost always +1 to wound. I think the most interesting use case for this is going to end up being like 10 intercessors with double tapping going to strength 6, really frustratingly. I don't think you're going to be putting in a unit in your army to use this specifically. Like this doesn't make Eradicators good. Like, please don't play Eradicators.
Azrael and 10 Sternguard.
All right, and then, oh my god, I love this stratagem. Every time this stratagem pops up, it makes me want to play it.
Remember how many times we've seen over the last little while the old heroic stratagem? Well,
this is probably the closest to playable it's gotten.
Yeah, so it's 1 CP. Any Dark Angels unit within, any Astartes unit within 3 of enemy units, or any Deathwing unit within 6, declare charge.
Which is Deathwing Knights, which is Inner Circle Companions with a Judicar.
Anything with Azrael.
Any unit Azrael attaches to.
Or Ezekiel or Asmodai, but none of those.
Not the Lion. Not the Lion.
He should have
Deathwing does work on Land Raiders.
But you can't.
It's not heroic. It's just a charge.
Yeah, you're not wrong. How?
Redemptors can do it. Like
Brutalises can do it.
Brutalises get the keyword.
It's all dreadnoughts.
Yeah, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for that anymore, right? There was a time you had to pay for that.
No. They just get it. So Brutalis is triggering the mortals on your opponent's turn. It's kind of funny.
That was last edition. You had to pay for the Deathwing keyword on stuff. God, that was awful.
Yeah, you could upgrade some of the units because some of them had it by default. But yeah, no, just on Deathwing Knights, like park it on an objective behind a wall and say, if you come on my objective, I'm charging you.
And if you try to stand like just outside 6 meters, you're getting one model on it, I'll +1 OC them instead. Like, you're pretty good at keeping your primary. I think this stratagem is really interesting. It's kind of cool. Yeah. I don't think it's better than Gladius.
It's probably not, but that's because Gladius is just Gladius.
Oh god, I feel like we say this every time they ever put
every time the Marine detachment, we go, yeah, but is it Gladius?
Probably not Gladius. Oh, don't hurt me.
It's like I look at the advance in charge and the fallback in charge, and okay,
like,
that's cool.
I can't begin to explain to you guys how good Liberator Assault Group has to be that we don't just be like, yeah, dude.
Is how it is.
Yeah. Overall thoughts on the Dataslate. I think all the stuff they did change, except Blood Angels and Necrons, feels pretty good. It feels like most of the stuff they changed, they got where
I think they went too far with Aeldari, but
Aeldari was probably, but also if you can't be balanced, you have to be bad. I'm okay with them just being like, Ynnari is gone. Let's figure out where Aeldari need to exist, and we'll fix everything else without having to worry about what Ynnari does if we don't go far enough. I think that's fine. I think it's annoying for Eldar players, and as an Eldar player myself, obviously we are better than you. But if you're better, if the Eldar players are all better than you, then they're going to keep winning anyway. The Necron Blood Angel changes blow my goddamn brain, and I don't know who the Chaos Space Marine detachment's for.
Chaos Space Marine detachment really read like we need a third detachment for this. For this update,
but like, I feel like they could have done like an AdMech detachment this patch round.
Well,
but it feels like
I don't
they're
think
doing
they know
one.
what to do with AdMech.
I feel like
anymore.
it also feels like, are they doing one Xenos, one Chaos, one Imperium each patch?
Oh,
did they do that last time? What were the 3 last time? It was Lions.
No, it was Custodes, Tau, and
really left an impression. Clearly, Sisters? No.
Someone in the chat will correct us in a minute.
Someone's gonna have to.
Yeah.
Oh, Orks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was more DACA, right?
So it was
Holy fuck.
2 Xenos, no Chaos.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
So now,
really
now we've seen.
out. Okay.
So now we've had 3 Xenos, 2 Imperium, 1 Chaos. So I don't think there's any real trend there.
No.
Oh, Shadow Legion?
No, Shadow Legion was in the Demons Index. It did come out at the same time, but it was in the Demons Index. It was Orks, yeah. I feel like I would have liked to see AdMech get theirs, or GSC, like an army that maybe like could actually use it. It feels like CSR have 9 detachments already.
Yeah, they have. So now they have 10.
It's here. I suppose it exists. It doesn't really. Let me actually. I'm going to read what the copy they wrote on it is. First up, the Chaos Space Marines get a new detachment focused on the Sorcerer's Imperium powers, which interact with the Dark Pact's army role. They don't really have like a reason for doing it, because sometimes they put like for Dark Age, we want to explore their capacity to battle against the odds. For Tyranids, we want to take center stage for Burrowing Trigons and Molochs. I didn't even mention Raveners in the copy.
I think so. The thing is, I don't think that those data sheets were supposed to be out right now, because
maybe not. But
it's a good time to pre-order on Typhon, do we?
No, not yet.
So I'm surprised they released them, because the app also, as far as I know, isn't updated with the.
It does not. It does not have them. Yeah, I think the Nurglings change blows my goddamn mind. Why are Nurglings getting a 5 invul? Let's stop that. Stop doing it now, and let's watch this space for emergency nerfs on potentially Death Guard and Thousand Suns if they continue on the trend that they're on. But I hope that they don't.
Well, Thousand Suns, we haven't seen any actual data yet.
I truly want to believe that the meta game will adapt and we'll just figure out how to beat Death Guard.
I mean, if the dashboard's any indications, apparently it's just plain Knights.
That might also work for like another month. Right. Any last thoughts?
C+?
Yeah, it's okay.
It passes.
I'm pretty sure
it's definitely not making an honor roll, though.
I gave one time in 8th edition, I think I said something along the lines of 4 out of 10 best Dataslate ever. I don't think I'm going quite that far in the meanness stage, but it's definitely a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this one knows what it wants to be. Is it nerfing the best? Is it buffing the bad? Like, it's doing a bit of both. But
I think they're also hesitant to make too many changes with the new mission pack dropping, but the new mission pack also didn't change a whole lot.
The new mission pack basically was just like, yeah, fuck you, battle line armies. You don't get stalwarts anymore.
Yeah. And, the secondaries, they tweaked a couple of them, but generally the scoring doesn't change a huge amount.
Like, I could see them being like, fixed got a little easier, so maybe there's a little bit of like, but I don't really
but not very much.
I feel like that just hits most armies about the same, right? Like, it's not.
Yeah, because overall they went ahead with removing no prisoners from there.
Yep, and I get
Recover's still out.
Still.
Oh well.
Yeah, I don't got a lot. Anyway, this has been our Dataslate in review, presumption, seeing what's going on. Obviously, we'll be back next week, 11 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Eastern, for the main show at youtube.com/statcheck. If you'd like to hear more from us, you can check out all our us at youtube.com/statcheck. If you'd like to support the show and help us out, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what your favorite Dataslate change was, what's missing from your army, what you're most excited about coming up. We'd love to hear it. And obviously, if you'd like to support the show a little bit more, you can check out patreon.com/statcheck or stat-check.com for all of the details on anything else. You can also use the YouTube membership program to access our Patreon Discord. With that, we're going to love you and leave you, because Jeremy's got stuff to do and I have a team call in 10 minutes. So have a fantastic evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.